right? I'm with UFC bantamweight Cory Sandhagen, who headlines this Saturday's UFC on ABC event against Umar Nurmagomedov. Cory, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
You said you got to Dubai about a week ago. Is this just to kind of get acclimated to the time zone and everything?
Definitely just want to get acclimated to the time. Uh, it wasn't actually as bad as I thought it'd be because I go to bed pretty early, so I only had to shift my sleep about 4 hours. So
And I know initially when I had spoken to you a while back, you said, you'll fight Umar. You'd rather not come here. And let me clarify before people go crazy in the comment section. It's nothing that you have against Abu Dhabi or Dubai, whatever. You fought here twice before. Was it more about why should I have to come to his kind of adopted hometown and fight him when when I'm the one giving him the opportunity? Is that what it was?
yeah, a little bit. When I initially talked about that, I thought that was a little bit more on the fair side. I don't know if it was before or after his last win, but actually after I talked about it, I mean, this is going to be a huge fight. There's going to be a ton of coverage in Abu Dhabi. Just having it be out here, I know that there's going to be a ton of coverage of it. It's on ABC, which is a big deal. And then also just the fact that, the first one was scheduled for Nashville, which would have definitely been my hometown, or not hometown, but, a little bit more fans rooting for me probably out there. So yeah, well, once I kind of thought about all that stuff, I kind of didn't complain too much. And I love Dubai. I love fighting out in Abu Dhabi. The hotels are beautiful. Like I said, it's a beautiful city. So not really a big deal.
So when they came to you with Umar Abu Dhabi, pretty quickly you accepted?
Yeah. Yep.
So let's talk a bit about the matchup. You're about a plus 240 underdog. Do you care about these things at all? Does it motivate you extra? Are you surprised by the odds?
I'm motivated extra for sure. I'm a little. I mean, deep down, I don't really care. But yeah, it puts a little bit of a chip on my shoulder just because I don't really, I guess, understand it. But that's fine with me. I'm gonna definitely make some people rich. So
And speaking of odds, also the title fight that was just announced between Sean O'Malley and Merab. Are you happy to finally see that it has a date, which is very close to your fight timeline-wise, September Noche UFC, but O'Malley's a slight underdog. So for two-part question. First off, are you excited to see that it finally has a date because they've been talking about it for so long?
yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that yeah, I'm pumped. I plan on being there. I think it's going to be an awesome show at the Sphere. It's going to be. I think Dana said that it's going to be a one-time thing at the Sphere. So I definitely want to make sure that I catch that, and then I want to see who I'm fighting after.
So when you say catch that, any interest if you get past Umar in being a backup, or does that role not interest you?
I don't know. It'd have to be for a lot of money.
All right. And the second part of that question, are you surprised that O'Malley's a slight underdog?
A little bit actually. I think O'Malley. I mean, O'Malley's maybe a little bit in the same position as me, where you haven't seen O'Malley fight a ton of wrestlers, so there's a lot of unknowns there. And you haven't seen me fought a ton of wrestlers, so you don't really know how good my defensive wrestling is. So I think he's a little bit in the same boat, and I think that when that is the case, usually people go, like choose wrestling. Like that's been proven time and time again that wrestling is kind of the king of combat sports. So I think that they're likely counting him out for that, but we really haven't seen him do much wrestling. So who knows? He could be as good as Jordan Burroughs or Kyle Dake or Vito Arujau, but I guess you don't really know.
That being said, how do you see the fight between Sean and Merab play out? And I know Sean's been kind of a dream matchup, maybe for yourself and for the fans. So are you kind of inside rooting for him to win?
Yeah, definitely rooting for O'Malley. I think that that's a bigger fight. I think that he's that's a fight that people have been asking for forever. I think that me and him go into a cage and it's just going to be fireworks. Like it's going to be so technical, so skilled, super athletic, and that's what the fans want to see really, really bad. So I'm going to get this win. O'Malley, get yourself a win, and then we'll give the fans what they've been asking for years. Because I really think that there's no more exciting fight or no fight that I feel like is being asked for more in the UFC than me and O'Malley. So that's what I hope happens.
And a familiar foe of yours is also sharing the card, Cheeto Vera, who is coming off of the title fight with Sean. He's fighting Davison Figueiredo. Did you run into Cheeto at all since you've been here? Actually, just saw him outside, but have you ran into him at all? And how do you think he does against Davison?
Yeah, we crossed paths, but I don't. Cheeto and I kind of shared a similar sentiment in that I'm okay with kind of having a little bit of friction because that's kind of what we're doing out here. We kind of just don't look at each other, honestly. But no, I think that that's a really interesting fight. I think that Figueiredo is very good. I'm really curious to see how he fights against Cheeto, and yeah, that'll be an interesting one.
And you and I have spoken about the Umar matchup on several occasions, but you've been working with Trevor Wittman for this camp, or is this before? How long have you been working with Trevor?
I've been with Trevor for about 4 months now.
Okay, and what went behind the decision to work with Trevor, and how has it been training with him?
Yeah, working with Trevor has been great. He's super impressive. He really knows how to work with athletes. On the technical, strategic side of things, I haven't met anyone better, honestly. I think that he like far exceeded my expectations on what he was going to be, and that's really cool because I didn't really know. Although I have known Trevor for a really long time, I never worked this closely with him, and yeah, it's really exciting. I really feel like me, Trevor, Ryan Hall, my head coach Carrington Banks really came up with the recipe for success in this one, and I just got to go out and execute.
Will he be in your corner?
Yeah, all three of those guys are going to be in the corner,
As well as so Trevor Carrington
and Ryan Hall.
And Ryan Hall, nice. Mm-hmm. And this training camp, because Umar is a very well-rounded fighter, but we also know he's a great grappler. Has this training camp been catered towards a lot of like grappling, or do you kind of do your own thing?
Oh man, this camp has been a handful. You know, finding someone that's that well rounded is a handful. So it's been everything. You know, like I've really had to push myself really far in order to learn enough, understand things enough, and then also like the whole physical and mental, all of that stuff, preparation. You add in a really unique style of fighting with someone that's really good at striking and really good at grappling, it makes you work really hard. So I worked my ass off this camp. Like I really, I can't. I was talking with my wife the other day, and she was like, "Yeah, I kind of feel like I haven't seen you in like a couple months." And I was like, "Yeah, pretty much," because we just had. I had training partners in town, and I was spending a lot of extra hours at the gym drilling and figuring stuff out. And so it's pushed me. It's pushed me a lot this camp, and I'm really, really excited for it all to be shown on Saturday.
That being said, if you could predict how quickly or how soon he would shoot for a takedown, how long do you think he'd stand with you, or do you expect him to shoot for a takedown right away?
I think he's going to stand for a little bit. I don't really know his strategy, of course. I'm going to be ready for anything, but I think that he's going to keep it standing for a little bit, being that wrestling like that is very energy taxing. And this is his first 5 round fight, and that's something that he's got to think about. So that would be my prediction, but I've been wrong in the past. Some of the toughest fights that I thought I was going to have in the world have been the easiest ones, and some of the easiest ones I thought that I was going to have been the toughest ones. So that's what the sport will teach you sometimes. So I'm ready for anything, but who knows?
Do you think the hype is warranted surrounding Umar, what you've seen from him so far? Obviously, on paper, you're a big step up in competition for him, but from what you've seen, do you think the hype is warranted?
Yeah, for sure. I do think that it is. Everyone has their holes, and that's a piece of it. But yeah, I think that he's very good. I mean, if you could choose stylistically like who to go against, I think that most of the division would not choose him just because, like I said, everything's unique, everything's well rounded, and yeah, I think that the hype is real. But Umar's not better than me, and I'm not going to let him beat me on Saturday.
Do you fear that if you do win, people are going to start being like, Cory was too big of a step up in competition. He was never that good. Do you think they might discredit you?
I could give a shit less. I don't read comments. I don't care what people think. What I care about is after I beat someone and I'm showering off all the blood and I'm kind of like taking a few moments to myself, the like proudness that I feel and the hard work all kind of like washing over me of how hard it was to accomplish such a thing. um, that's a big motivator for me. And I don't care what other people think. In fact, I don't even know what most of them think because I am a healthy person and I don't read comments or dive into my phone as much as I think other people do.
Well, that's the right way to go about it. One last one from me. You talked about how he's never been in a 5 round fight, and that's somewhere where you can excel. That being said, do you envision a potential late finish where you can start having your stronger rounds later on?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I fight at a very high pace. It's not fun. I'm very annoying. I'm like a fly that won't go away and will not leave you alone. And it's almost like I kind of I feel like compare my style to maybe what other like a Sean Strickland, not in like what we do, of course, but in the sense where people stand in there with me and they're like, oh, this is different than what I thought that this was going to be. And I get told that often in sparring, where it's like, oh, this is not how I thought it was going to be. And that's going to be tough for Umar to deal with, especially over 5 rounds. And it's not going to be fun. And I'm excited to, really shine.
All right. Well, Cory, I appreciate the time. Thank you so much, and best of luck.